Hey everyone, and welcome to This Explainer. Look, if you're tuning in today, chances are you're someone who really puts in the hard work, right? You go the extra mile, you consistently deliver, but maybe, just maybe, your compensation isn't exactly reflecting all that effort anymore. Well, today we're taking a highly stressful situation and turning it into a very structured step-by-step playbook to secure that pay increase. And the absolute best part, we're going to do it without you ever feeling pushy or overly aggressive. We're relying purely on data, strategy, and preparation.
So, tell me, has your paycheck kind of flatlined? It's incredibly common, honestly. You get hired at a certain rate, you take on more and more responsibilities over the years, but your paycheck, it just stays exactly the same. In fact, studies actually show that failing to negotiate your salary can cost you literal hundreds of thousands of dollars over the course of your career. Crazy, right? We really need to normalize the fact that asking for a raise is not a confrontation. It's just a professional business conversation. It's all about being prepared, being professional, and most importantly, being armed with the right data.
Okay, let's dive into our roadmap for today. We have three clear parts on the agenda. First, when timing is everything. Second, the core five-step process. And third, some crucial pro tips for success.
Let's start with part one, when timing is everything. Because honestly, knowing exactly when to ask is just as critical as how you ask.
And this brilliantly illustrates the stark contrast between the absolute perfect moment and the absolute worst moment to make your move. Think about the ideal times, like immediately after a massive win or a super successful project. It's fresh in everyone's mind. Your annual performance review is another completely natural opening. You also want to look at the macroeconomic factors of your workplace, like is the company actually doing well financially? And a big tip here, aim for 2 to 3 months before budget planning season, because once that budget is locked, the money is gone. On the flip side, the worst times are fairly obvious, but people still mess this up. Never, ever ask during company layoffs or right after you've made a pretty noticeable mistake. Read the room, master your timing, and you've literally won half the battle.
That brings us perfectly to part two, the five-step process. This right here is your strategic playbook for the actual negotiation. The absolute most important thing to remember here is that winging it is simply not an option. Hope is not a strategy. We're going to move seamlessly through these 5 specific steps: researching your worth, building your case, dialing in your script, choosing your tone, and finally having an airtight backup plan. Let's break these down. Step 1 is doing your research. You absolutely must establish your exact market value before you even step foot in the room. And notice the precision we need here. Don't just guess. Go to sites like levels.fyi, Glassdoor, or salary.com. Filter by your exact role, your specific years of experience, and your geographic location. Doing this takes all the emotion out of the request. When you mathematically know your worth in the open market, your confidence is going to naturally skyrocket. That research naturally builds right into step 2. Once you have that market data, you pair it with your personal data to build a totally bulletproof case. Whatever you do, do not walk in and just say, "I need more money." Your manager cannot take "I need more money" to HR and get an approval. They need evidence. So prepare 3 to 5 specific accomplishments and tie them directly to concrete numbers. Instead of saying "I sold more," tell them "I increased sales by 28%. Don't just say "I work hard." Say "I took on 2 extra projects and delivered them early." Or "I trained 3 new team members." Numbers are the universal language of business value. Which brings us to step 3, the script. I want you to burn this exact phrasing into your memory. You say, "I've really enjoyed working here and I'm proud of insert specific achievement. I've taken on more responsibility and delivered insert the result. Based on my research and contributions, I'd like to discuss increasing my salary to X dollars." Having these precise words memorized builds so much confidence. It starts off positive, it inserts your concrete metric, it references your objective market research, and it states a very clear, direct number. It leaves zero room for ambiguity. Step 4 is all about your delivery. You've got to choose the right tone. You need to be confident, for sure, but you absolutely must remain collaborative. This is not a hostage negotiation, it's a mutual business discussion. And here is a highly strategic pro tip. When you state your specific number, make sure it is slightly higher than your actual target. You always want to leave room for them to negotiate downward while you still land exactly on the number you originally wanted. And step 5 is your safety net, the backup plan. What actually happens if management just flat out says no? Well, do not panic and definitely don't get defensive. Instead, you're going to use this brilliant pivot question. What would it take for me to earn a raise in the next 6 months?
This is incredibly powerful. It immediately shifts the whole dynamic. It turns a rejection into a collaborative future roadmap. You are essentially asking your boss to write the exact syllabus for your next raise. If you hit the marks they set, well, the raise becomes inevitable. All right, let's shift gears into our final section. Part 3, Pro Tips for Success. These are some rapid-fire best practices for 2026 to ensure the whole negotiation goes flawlessly from start to finish. Let's run through these final rules of engagement. First up, always ask in person or via a live video call. Never ever ask for a raise via email. You lose all the nuance, the tone, and your ability to pivot in real time. Second, bring a printed summary of your achievements to physically hand to your boss. Remember, they have to go to bat for you with their boss or HR, so hand them the exact cheat sheet they need to win that argument. Third, and this is a fantastic tactic, if the company's budget is strictly locked and money is truly tight, ask for alternative perks. Negotiate for more paid time off, extra remote work days, or maybe a one-time performance bonus. And finally, always follow up in writing after the meeting so there is a documented paper trail of exactly what was discussed and agreed upon. So I want to leave you with one final question. When was the last time you asked for a raise? If you're sitting there realizing it's been years, well, it's time to take action. I challenge you right now, today, to write down your top 3 metric-driven accomplishments. Go research your exact market rate, and then schedule that conversation. You've totally earned it, but the company isn't just going to hand it to you. You have to go ask for it. Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and I hope this gives you the exact blueprint you need to get the compensation you truly deserve.